I think we should do this all in one take so we don't have to edit it. Whatever is in is getting left in.
I love it.
All right?
Let's do it.
Are you guys into that?
Yeah.
Okay. In 3, 2...
You are now listening to Effin B Radio.
And welcome to Effin B Radio. My name is Lindsay Collins, and I am your host. Today, I have a co-host, which I used to do a lot, but I haven't done it in a long time. Wow. You know him. You love him. Henry Riggs, welcome.
It's me. I get to be a co-host. This
is fun. We haven't done this awesome. In a while.
It's been a while. Wait, did me and Mari co-host one?
Yeah, you guys did.
Co-hosted a couple.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Mari's too fucking busy, though.
Mari's a favorite. Yeah, Mari's jet setting.
She's in Hawaii.
Yeah.
She sent me a picture of her on a mountaintop wearing an Effin B Radio t-shirt.
That's pretty cool.
I was like, Hawaii's looking good considering.
Amazing mountain views.
Yeah, it's looking good. But the reason you're co-hosting is because we have a very special guest today, Carmen Christopher. Welcome to the show.
Wow, thanks for having me.
It's an honor.
I'm pumped.
This is awesome.
I'm pumped as well. Carmen Christopher, I thought we would lead with the least pertinent information, and then I'll tell you who he is towards the end.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely pump him up at the end.
Yeah, we'll just really pile on the accolades at the end. No, you're a recurring, I was going to say guest, but you're just a cast member of The Bear, the hit Runaway FX TV show about all things food and beverage.
Oh, yeah.
And your name is the same as the main character. Does that get confusing for you?
That's funny. No.
You're a method actor.
Well, but a funny story is my mom told everybody that I was a writer for The Bear.
Nice.
And that I named the main character after myself.
Amazing.
Honestly, that's a believable story.
It's so annoying. And she never once was like, you did a good job in the show. I was like,
as Chester.
Never once was like, hey, I'm proud of you. She's like, actually, she's happy, but she just gets information wrong. It's all good. Whatever.
I feel
that's
like
what moms do.
Yeah, moms
would
like that. My mom literally will tell me she's too busy to listen to my podcast because she's listening to audiobooks. And I'm like, that's such a close... You could just easily slide that in there.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day because my mom asks all the time, like, when my shows are, but never has any intention of going. But we'll like, hey, when's the next one? Calendar. I want to make sure I know when it is.
I want to make sure I don't buy tickets.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool to have you on the show. You're actually from Chicago, too.
That's correct. I'm from Chicago, born and raised.
I hear
lived
it in
your Chicago, then moved to New York, was there for 7 years, and now I live in LA, baby. Hollywood, Tinseltown. If you can't make it there, man, you can't make it anywhere. That's what they say.
That's not what they say.
You go to premieres every week. Carmen's at a different premiere every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a special on Peacock. You've done so many cool things. You're a very funny dude. And
Thank you.
Am curious if they cast you because you're actually from Chicago and that played into the role. Were they looking for people from Chicago when they were building that cast?
Wait, actually, I have something I have to say, actually.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So I think you're allowed to plug the shows I'm on, but I think because I'm on strike, I'm not allowed to actually talk about them.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's fine. So, and but I should have told you that this is funny because this is going to go unedited.
Yeah,
and I think that's fine. And I think that's fine.
I like how you didn't mention that despite knowing.
Well, we should also mention that we didn't plan
at all.
It's 10 a.m. This is dropping I don't know.
At 10:40.
At 10:40.
This came together in a hot.
Yeah, I met you 3 seconds ago.
That's true.
And I should have prefaced that I'm not allowed to talk about the project. I think you're allowed to say he did this and this and this, but I can't be promoting it. I actually don't know the rules.
I just listened to a podcast where this conversation went down, and they were like, and the artist couldn't talk about the special that just premiered.
Wow.
But other people could.
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Could say about it.
I can't control you, I think.
That's true.
But it is.
I think
it is.
You can try.
I mean, I have to. I stand with the unions.
Okay, all right. That's good.
Solidarity.
No, that's fair. But
feel free to in the descriptions pump me up.
Okay, yeah, I'll really.
But it is funny. It is. I do stand solidarity, but it is also funny because it is it can't help. I'm not gonna get anybody to watch a show, but the credits will get them to watch me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not bigger than the show. Like, I feel like it's really effective for like stars that are like all the stars walked out of like Oppenheimer. Mm-hmm. But actually, that didn't do shit anyway. Oppenheimer's like the second biggest movie.
Were you there? You were there at the... Was that the premiere of
I was at Oppenheimer, and I took my shirt off there, and it was dope.
Can you talk about that? I mean...
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
But all the stars were at the premiere where you had your shirt off?
I was not at the actual premiere.
Oh, okay.
I did go see it at the Chinese theater, and I made like a stupid Instagram video that was like, "What's up, guys? My name's Carmen Christopher, and I'm about to see Oppenheimer with my shirt off." Wow. And then there's like shots of me watching it with my shirt off, and I have a big Diet Coke in my hand, and I go, this movie's weird. And it did decent on Instagram.
Okay. I was like, the film? Yeah, the film did good.
But like, people are probably impressed because you like work out a lot. You did 30 laps in the pool yesterday.
You did?
I swam 30 laps in...
without stopping?
Oh, I stopped a lot.
All right, that's kind of good.
I
did two, and then I couldn't go anymore. I was in a pool yesterday too, and I was like, how many could I do in a row without like taking an official break? And it was not many.
I pay monthly for a gym membership I don't use.
Really? Do they have a pool?
No.
Oh, so
it's
you're
Planet
not...
Fitness.
Okay, it's not
Planet Fitness.
Yeah, I should probably get out of there.
Oh, I just got emailed to audition for a Planet Fitness commercial.
You did?
I could talk about that.
Okay. All right. Let's focus on that. I think the listeners would be really interested in that.
Well, it's due at 11 a.m. LA time, and they sent like, you know what I was thinking? They sent like 40 different like sides, not 40, but like 10. And I'm like reading it, and I'm like, I guess I'm just not going to do this. It's too confusing. All right, that's all. Let's not talk about this. I can't believe this has to go unedited. Is this bad? Am I doing bad?
No, you're doing great. Because like,
people just say shit like that. No, you're doing
what
great.
Are we supposed to say? Like, yeah, this is going bad.
Well,
let's edit it.
If you were
already committed.
But if you were like, yeah, it's going bad, then it's kind of funny because you're telling the truth.
But, yeah, isn't it kind of cool that it's going bad?
No. I don't think it's going bad.
Well, you're on tour right now, so you're touring a comedy show across the United States right now.
I'm on tour, baby. If you don't come see me tonight in Charleston, South Carolina at LOFI Brewing, like, what are you doing? Watching Southern Charm again?
Are you kidding me?
Reruns.
Jesus.
We were trying to run into some Southern Charm people. Did you see anybody last night? You went out in Charleston last night.
I went out last night.
Yeah,
I went to 3 different... Oh, so I made... Camille take me to
shout out Camille Lohman.
Camille Lohman in the shout out.
Yeah, I made her take me to where they hang out at Republic, and it was dead because I wanted
amazing.
There was like 3 people there, and it sucked.
I've never been.
Me neither. I get invited.
Really?
I got invited one time. They were like, "Please come to our anniversary party," and I was like, "I've never been to begin with. Why would I want to?"
It's funny that it's like an invite. Culture. I don't know.
Wait, but the inside wasn't even open. The outside was open. I was like, there's so many nicer backyards I could go drink in than this stupid little thing. There's 2 women dancing on each other, and
out of the 3 people total,
and the guy with them was just like depressed. And then there was a guy on the guitar. There was live music for the 3 people, and I'm thinking to myself,
it's loud. The live music is loud.
Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, this place isn't as cool as I was hoping for. I was hoping it to be like kind of douchey, sceney Charleston.
You'll see a lot of that when you get to Florida. I feel like people come here from Florida and they're always like, where are your clubs?
Yeah.
That's what they ask. And I'm like, there really aren't any. There's not really a club scene. And I feel like people don't understand.
Well, like the clubs are restaurants that turn into clubs. So they'll do like dinner service and then they'll push all the chairs and tables to the
like
wall and then have a
hot
DJ.
Lava cake. And then you're also, it's
and then
just
they're like, all right, it's 10 o'clock. DJ's coming in. Let's open it up. Did you go anywhere else?
That one bar, American something.
Oh, Royal American.
Went there. That was cool. You could see the freight trains and have a drink. I like that. Talked to a guy named Juice, the bouncer. He's a big Dallas Cowboy fan.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, he was.
Is he coming to the show?
I didn't tell him about the show. I should have. We did tell one guy about the show, and he's coming. Some guy with long hair.
Okay. I hope I see him.
Sweet.
I'll talk to him. No, the show's tonight.
The show's tonight at 8.
At 8
and it's
o'clock.
good. I'm not even going to lie. This show's good.
Nice.
Wow. Henry, you've known me for what, 14 years?
Yeah.
Have I ever lied to you?
Not once. I've seen you at your best, and I've seen you at your worst.
Oh shit,
dude! I'm not gonna leave your side. I'm in your corner, dude. I think you're crushing it right now.
When was I my worst?
Oh, I don't know.
Damn.
I don't know. You've always been kind of crushing it. I mean, you did Twisty at Second City.
Oh, shit. That's right, baby.
I remember seeing your picture on the wall at Second City.
What's
next
Twisty?
to like Twisty is like one. Well, I'll let you talk about Twisty. I don't know.
Twisty is a house team at Second City where it's basically like their incubator system to like work you into like either tour or be on the main stage one day. But essentially, you write a show together with your cast, a sketch show together through improv with your cast, and you wear a suit to do comedy in a little fucking like classroom, basically. And people come to your show and they don't sell alcohol, and you sweat your ass off in this little room the size of a living room, and they make you think that what you're doing is very important. And if you ask to have a week or like to have a day off to do an even more popular show, they scold you and say, how dare you think that anything is better than the Second City? And it's kind of bogus, but it got me some reps and it got me a little bit better. So I'm grateful for that. Grateful for any opportunity. Grateful for any opportunity. But it was also some bullshit. Don't make me wear a fucking suit in a place the size of a living room and tell me to do comedy. And then the whole show is singing. And I can't sing, so I'm barely in the show.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean?
It was a musical?
It was by the end. It wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be like the funny, goofy sketch comedy show. And I'll tell you what. Here's some hot inside shit.
That's a dish.
Our director was Tom Flanagan, who the year before was writing for SNL. He got fired, and his first job after writing for SNL, after being fired, was directing our show, and he did not want to be there.
Amazing.
And I was so excited to be like, oh my God, we're going to work with the guy that wrote on SNL. And I was like, this guy doesn't give a fuck. And then he puts all these songs and shit in there, and none of my sketches made it. And I was like, yeah, bitch, that's why you got fired.
Amazing.
No, I'm just joking. He's a great guy. I learned a lot from him. He's
grateful
really cool.
for any opportunity.
Yeah.
Grateful for any opportunity.
I just remember that being like promoted. Like they set those teams. There was like Twisty. I forget the other one. There were a couple.
Twisty, Moxie.
Well,
you do all of them. You start in Twisty.
Okay,
then you
it's like a level up.
Then you go to Next. Then you go to Moxie, and then we did our show. So it was a full year. Every single Saturday, we had to wear a fucking suit and do that show and be there for like 4 or 5 hours rehearsing and shit. And
dude, that's hilarious. Like I remember being on house teams at IO.
You get paid nothing, by the way.
Yeah,
You're selling tickets, and Second City's keeping all the money, and they ain't paying their performers. And I'm showing up in a suit on August 27th, 200 degrees outside, humid, and I'm not getting a buck.
Wow.
But your picture was on
Jimmy
the wall.
John's right, and your picture's on the wall, and people say, "Oh, you perform at Second City. That's cool." I'm like, I guess.
Is it? I mean, honestly, there's some parallels there with when I was in New York. I worked. I know we're not going to talk about the Bear, but it's the same kind of restaurant.
You can. I'm not.
Where
solidarity.
I can't control you from talking about what you want to talk about.
I can talk about whatever.
We can
I
technically
want.
talk about the
Me
Bear.
and you
I'm
will
not
talk about him as though he's not.
Yeah.
On that show.
Right.
But it's like the people want to work there. People really want to be there. It's like considered the pinnacle of your industry, like to be in a restaurant like that. But then actually the reality of being there, it kind of sucks. And you're like, why am I doing this? But at the same time, you don't want to stop having these opportunities.
It's almost like a badge to be like, hey, here's this badge. Can I get into this next job or whatever? But then you ultimately realize that like creating your own
is the best
stuff is like, yeah, it's the gate to happiness.
Well, I think that's what you learn in Chicago ultimately, because I remember thinking like, well, no, it rewards the people who do their own thing, because we kind of came up in that scene, and I was gonna say I remember being on house teams at IO, and it was like almost impossible to even get your picture on the website, and like walking into Second City and seeing Carmen's picture on the wall, I was like, well, this looks like a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's funny because as you start to do more shows, you're like, oh, that's kind of not a big they're like promoting it like it's like they're setting you up to be like a main stager. This is like how you do the main stage path. And then like everybody just started doing their own shows around town. Like Holy Fuck was a big show where everybody kind of like got to do their own thing, and then that branched off. you did Thunderdome, which
Yeah.
is how I think like Mari and I. That's the first place Mari and I ever did sketch together.
Cool.
Was at Thunderdome. Did you know that?
No, a lot of people tell me the first time I did so and so was at Thunderdome,
Which is
from
crazy.
Chicago.
We never did sketch at Upstairs Gallery. We never did sketch anywhere. We're like, I forget if it was like you were booking it. You might have asked us. I can't remember.
I was the only one booking it. I did everything.
I don't know if we
When
asked or I
started
asked or you asked us. I can't.
I
remember,
probably hit you up. I would just see people that I'm like, this person's funny. I want them to do this. But like, I would do like, I produced a show in Chicago. No one was producing their own weekly show in the improv scene.
Because it's hard. It was hard to like draw a crowd or like get people to do it.
It was really hard. But then
Or find a classroom to be in.
No, it was like this place called Studio B, and it was like outside of like Thunderdome, the shows there probably nobody was like really talking about them.
It was right across the street from the Vic.
It was a great location.
Yeah.
And
right
it
off the
was
train
like,
stop.
I went in there and I was like, yo, let me host a weekly show, make it $3, and everybody gets a free beer. So basically, it's like, this is a free show. And I was like, it's not going to make you any money, but I think I can make it good. And I think that because if I'm able to make it good, it'll bring more attention and you'll be able to book out your schedule for the year. And it worked. And it took a little time, but I like had a friend, my best friend's brother was doing comedy in Chicago. Or trying to, and I was like, he was like, can I do the show? I was like, sure. And he was really like new and young and not good yet. And I was like, just keep coming back every week. So he kept coming back every week. And then all his friends started coming. So it developed this college crowd. And Chance the Rapper started coming.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember that being my first introduction to Chance the Rapper and being like, oh, this guy's kind of like, this is a big deal. He's like popping into the show.
It was
Chance
crazy.
the Rapper was doing improv?
No. Well,
He was
was
just
it?
hanging-
He was.
He was?
No, he was. Well, so he came and hung.
Wow.
And then afterwards he was like, yo, can I play next week? And I was like, yeah, I didn't know who he was, but everyone was like, Acid Rap's huge. It's awesome. It's cool. Like, this place was like, people were pumped. So he did it. And so he came back, and anytime he wanted to play, he just did. And like, the next year, he fully like blew up. He was hosting SNL, the musical guest on SNL.
Wow.
Same, and like
Wild.
just like huge. And I was like, I saw him. One of my friends was writing for the Tonight Show, Fallon, and so I went when Chance was performing, and I saw him in the hallway. I was like, he's about to fucking big time me. I know it. And we were walking, and he was like, he sees me. He's like, yo, what's up? I was like, oh, thank God.
That's awesome.
I wasn't gonna get, I wasn't embarrassed by him, but.
And he wasn't embarrassed by
That's
you.
so
dude.
nice.
He
But
loved
he's
it.
like, when he's on Kimmel,
You made him what he was.
He's
yeah.
been on like Kimmel and like NBC, whatever, like news shows, and he's like, yeah, I started comedy at Thunderdome. That's
Really?
He's multiple
He
times.
shouted out the show?
multiple times on
How
national
crazy is
television.
it
Wow.
that that show was like, like remembered? I mean, they're
It's
like,
great. It's so funny.
That's crazy.
But he's the only one talking about it. I'm not even talking about it.
That's
Chance is
hilarious.
talking about Thunderdome.
We did a post of like,
That's
yeah,
great.
like talking about Thunderdome because that's Mari and I did a sketch group called Elston, and I remember was it Joey Dundale maybe that was like afterwards he was like, hey, that was really good. And so it's just like somebody you respect being like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you should keep doing that. And it was like, oh, right on. It was like a really cool community that felt really supportive, even though everybody was kind of like grinding and
Yeah,
it
for
wasn't really
sure.
cutthroat, but in a way where everybody was like trying to be
Well, Thunderdome,
like getting out of there, I guess. Getting
but
out of
also for
Chicago.
me, it was like a thing where like I just got on a Second City House team, but before that, I was like not getting on any. Is this boring?
No.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
like, I don't even. Is the podcast supposed to be about food?
The podcast is about food, but it's fine. There's,
talk about food.
later at the end, we'll talk about restaurants in Chicago, and we'll say we did it.
Ooh, that's fun.
Oh, I have a theory. Sorry if this is a derail, but I have a theory that the bear is kind of based on Alinea. Do you know if that's true?
I'm
Are
happy
you
to
able
say
to
that
say?
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
Oh, amazing! I,
I don't
love
think it
it.
is. I think it's not because he came from New York. I think in the story, that's how it goes. I think he's
hilarious.
from the restaurant I worked at.
But
which
the
I
way
am
they
allowed to
talk about it's funny. It's funny the way they talk about it because it's like when it's the first season is Chicago beef. It's like a Chicago beef restaurant, but it
Yeah.
it
Have you ever
acts
heard
like
of John and Vinny's in L.A.?
Yeah.
That's all I
Classic.
want to say.
Oh, okay.
That's not the answer. Or maybe it is. There's just a lot. There's a lot to dive deep in, but I'm not allowed to talk about it.
You can't talk about the show at all.
Because the studios don't want to give us a fair deal. So now you at home, you have to suffer. You
Release your streaming numbers. Release your streaming numbers, FX.
If you want this strike to end, email Jeff Bezos. Email
who?
The Disney fucker.
I want names.
Bob Iger.
Bobby Iger.
I don't know. There's like so many Bobs
Eisenhower.
He's literally in Montana right now with a yacht parked on land, eating crimp.
What an asshole.
What is crimp?
It's crawfish and shrimp together.
Yes.
It's a hybrid.
It's
crimp.
For all
it's
you
rare.
foodies out there, crimp is crawfish and shrimp. It's like when
It's a designer brand.
Yeah.
It's a designer brand of seafood.
Yeah, we're getting shrimp and crawfish to fuck.
Nice, dude.
They want to.
Montana crimp.
You can have that as your merch.
Thank you so much. Crimp.
Dude, crimp would be great.
Crimp and grits.
You should get your radio station crimp heads underneath it.
Crimp heads. Aren't you supposed to like suck the head of the crawfish? I don't eat crawfish. I don't know. That's like one of the food. I mean, I will eat them, but there's not like many foods that I'm like, I'm all good.
I don't know if I've done crawfish. I used to be a big shrimp eater, and now I'm allergic.
I don't
know if I'm allergic, but I'm intolerant to shrimp.
I don't know too much about food. I only eat lobster and steak.
Every night?
Yeah. Just you surf and turf it no matter
breakfast,
what?
lunch, dinner.
Wow.
Lobster and steak.
Your show's must be doing really well. The strike's going great for you.
Actually, no. I'm really struggling.
Okay.
No, dude. It's about to sell out tonight.
It better fucking sell out. I'm telling you right now,
it's
whoever's
close.
listening, if you don't bring your little ass to this show, I'm going to slap you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the show actually because you did all this stuff in Chicago and then you started writing your own show. When were you acting first and like kind of doing comedy at the same time, or like how do you do it?
So I started comedy in Chicago doing improv. I was doing improv and sketch there for like 4 or 5 years. Then I moved to New York and I was doing improv and sketch there as well. But then I started stand up there because I was getting booked on a lot of stand-up shows, and I was like doing characters, and I was like, "Damn, this is embarrassing," because I'm like rolling up to like the coolest fucking bar in New York, the coolest lineup, and I have a wig, and I was like, "Damn, maybe I could just like do my stand-up. Maybe I could do my characters without props," and so I started that way, and so I was basically still doing like solo characters during stand-up shows. But I was just contextualizing my like jokes and my characters more so that like the audience understood what the fuck I was doing. And that's kind of how I started doing stand up in New York. And then it kind of transitioned into like fully cause I love improv and sketch still and whatever, but like it just felt like the venues I was doing, it was like it made more sense to just like kind of like, you know, give it some sort of stand-up structure more in my comedy. But in every lineup, I was like the weird comic. And so I was like, but then in New York, I got my first writing job for the Chris Gethard show. And then I was starting to get like a little work here or there, you know, sell some stuff. But then eventually I was like, I should move. Oh, wait, I can't say the Chris Gethard show. Oh, who cares? That shit's canceled. Yo, go not watch the Chris Gethard show.
Yeah.
That shit's been canceled.
Crackle? Where's that?
What was that?
Where is
Crackle?
it?
I'm not allowed to say.
You can't say.
I don't even.
Can I guess?
I think it's a
True
network
TV?
that doesn't.
Might
I don't even know if
like
that exists. I don't even know if that exists anymore.
I love that. That was cool watching that show. I recognize a lot of people that worked on that show, and I think also like people who like comedy, like Gethard, and discover a lot of comedians through that. He let you guys like guest host shows for a while.
Not guest host, but after the show,
or it's like a presents.
Chris Gethard presents, and basically he like people would put on their own hour versions of their own talk shows at the public. What is it called? What do you call it?
Public access.
Public access.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how he like started, right?
Who?
Chris Gethard.
That's how he started on public.
Yeah.
Well, he started at UCB, and then he was like, "Let me take this show to public access," and then public. Then he sold like a pilot to Comedy Central, another network that kind of doesn't exist. I guess I could talk about it. And then and then went to Fusion, which I'm like probably doesn't exist, and then took the show to True TV, which I think might exist.
Dude, you're scabbing so hard right now.
I don't know. I think I'm talking shit.
I think you're about to get lit up by the union.
I stand so hard with the union. I actually struck this morning in Charleston. I was the only one.
He was outside Whole Foods by a nurse that was smoking.
That
I was outside Whole Foods. There was kids like filming grocery store prank videos, and I said, "You cannot film right now. We are on strike."
That's true.
Yeah.
When I was driving by, I saw that.
That's pretty cool.
I can vouch for that. But no, so the style of your like some of the stuff that I've seen. I mean, obviously the things that you've acted in, like that's separate. But your actual like your comedy show that's on Peacock. Mm-hmm. We can't say that either. We can't talk about this. This whole show is just a series of is very like you kind of playing a character to the bone, like just taking it very like doing ridiculous things, and people are just kind of like, is this a bit? Is this
for sure? I mean, I could speak of my comedy. I think my comedy is
okay,
like
cool.
It's definitely rooted in like just because I came up through improv and sketch, it's fully like my stand-up is like it feels natural to play a heightened like a character of myself. I think a lot of people stand up is like this is like I think like a Nate Bargatze, that guy's just being him fully on stage, like he's just talking about his family and shit. I don't know, he's really funny, but that's just like not my style at all. I think that I'm definitely playing like the dumbest version of myself, and to me that's funny because I think like I think I say this a lot is like it's like I don't know, I think it's funny to embody a dumb character rather than to be like talk about how people suck a lot. Like because we all suck. Like there's a portion in our brain that like inhibits like dumb ideas and bad ideas, and it's like, well, I'll just do that. Because like I don't live like that, but it's like, but everybody has these like weird ideas and thoughts and whatever, and it's like, I don't know, you just know how to behave and you know how not to behave, and I play characters that don't know how to behave. I think
but people see that and it's like super relatable, and I think that's why it's funny is because being that person instead of making fun of that person is stronger.
It's definitely scary too, though, because like sometimes I'll say something that's so ridiculous, and I'm like, a general audience when I'm touring doesn't understand that I'm being like ironic. Yeah. And so they're like, I don't know about that. Or you'll do something that you say that's like fucked up, and they like clap, and you're like, no, you idiot. Yeah. Like we're making fun of this type of person
because identifies with the wrong thing.
Comedy's annoying.
Well, that's why, like the whole thing with like sketch and improv going into stand up, like the industry I feel like just doesn't know what to do with like improv and sketch. It just doesn't have a place in.
But like, does it anywhere other than Chicago? Like I know in Chicago it's like it's sort of like in Boston there's like a kind of insular music scene that never really makes it out of Boston. Like it only can exist in that place. But to me, like as not a real comedian in any capacity, but someone that kind of dabbles in comedy, improv feels like training, right? Like it's just like it's like keeping yourself fit. It keeps your mind kind of sharp. But it's like audiences
the only
aren't
one to crush the
like,
game is Colin Mockery.
Yeah. I mean that guy is a legend. Yeah.
I will say that it's whatever you want to take out of it. I do think in Chicago we were there at such a special, like I think like truly the height of improv, because after COVID and like social media, like everyone just makes fun of it and thinks it's whack. But I do think that there is like a special thing about it where if you're good and you watch good improv, it's fucking like, it is magical. It's really cool.
Yeah, when it's done well, it looks like a magic trick.
But it's like for comedians. Like it's hard to get bigger audiences. You know what I mean? Like comedians kind of get off on
depending
improv.
on where the audience is, like Chicago definitely has a palate for good improv because it's there all the time. So I think audiences expect it and know it. And everywhere else in the country, probably, you kind of have to explain what improv is because they all go, is it kind of like stand-up? Or you go, well, yeah, but no, you don't, I mean, I don't know.
I love it, Rip City, where people always be like, so you just made that up right now. And I'm like, no, we wrote that. Like,
well,
no one ever gets improv when it's happening, and then when it's not happening, people are like, so that's improv. And you're like, no, why is this so hard?
And Rip City, the show that we do in Charleston, is like a direct rip from Holy Fuck, which was The Annoyance. It was the midnight show. It was on Fridays. It was like some of the top comedians just being like very loose and goofy. Like it was just a half-baked idea. This like I was just thinking about this week, and I don't know what to do with this, and I'll throw it up. And then, but Holy Fuck spawned like what was the late night TV dinner or
TV dinner in New York.
The TV dinner in New York, like all this stuff you did at Annoyance. I feel like that school, like from Upstairs Gallery and Annoyance, kind of like went off into all these pockets around the country, and like all the people who I really dig kind of follow that version of just like it starts as a character, it starts as a fun
kernel,
idea, and then
just blow it up.
You work it out and you pitch it with other people, and the group makes it funnier. I don't know. So that we're just copying you guys.
Well, whatever. Like I'm sure there was some like iteration of Holy Fuck before we were doing Holy Fuck, and it's just like, I mean, people just want to do comedy in whatever structure or form that helps. You know, you put together a show, I think is cool because like ultimately it's like the bits are different, the people are different, the sensibility is different of the person. So it's like, it's not really copying. It's just a way to like do comedy and have fun and entertain people.
It's funny too that like, I Think You Should Leave is like the most popular show ever. And like sketch shows are generally like very popular, but they are not frequent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like networks aren't buying sketch shows, and people are pitching sketch shows, I imagine, all the time.
Yeah.
And they're just never buying them. They're never producing them. And then you have I Think You Should Leave, which is like instantly like iconic. And it's like, well, yeah, that dude's the funniest ever.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
For sure.
Do you have any insider information on why people don't buy sketch shows? What's the deal?
I think it's just like, I think they don't make money is what it is. Like, I think the idea of like buying a television show is like an executive thinking, how does this last like 7 or 8 seasons?
Yeah.
And like
usually like 3 tops.
Yeah. And I just think in general, comedies like don't make money, but like even like that show, they don't promote it. They don't do shit. And it's like the funniest fucking show. But like, I think it's just
Carmen
like,
happens to be on the 3rd season. I'll tell you that, Lindsay.
Oh.
Carmen, did you know?
I didn't know that. Wait, is that
he's
right?
not saying that.
Okay, we won't talk about that, but that's amazing. That's unbelievable. I'm a huge fan.
Solidarity with the union.
yeah. You guys could talk about it.
As long as we just like put solidarity with the union at the end. That's amazing.
But yeah, it's, I don't know. I'm not an exec, but I just like, you don't see like big comedies being made anymore. And I think it's just because they bomb at the box office.
Dude, like the Maria and I talk about this a bit. Like the classic like comedy, like there's no Anchormans, you know. There's no like Great Outdoors, like those kind of movies, like those.
I
just
think it's
silly
because
comedies don't get
there's
made.
like it's almost like cannibalistic, where like people are like, "Oh, give us another Great Outdoors," and and so it's like they're not really leaving room for anything new and like exciting. They're kind of just being like, "Give us another this," instead of
maybe we should replace these execs with AI. I mean, that's basically
it's time.
I mean, honestly,
I think it's time.
They're not smart
that
as AI.
was the coolest thing I've ever said.
Yeah,
that was so tough. Yeah, I got an idea.
Yeah,
I got an idea.
The union's gonna love that.
How about you guys drink a little bit of your own medicine? Yeah, all right.
Do you use AI to write your comedy?
No,
not
but
yet.
Should you?
I did once type in like, give me a Carmen joke in the set of Carmen Christopher, and they were really, really bad, and it made me happy. I'm so stupid that AI will never affect me. They will never figure out how my brain works.
There's no algorithm.
There's no algorithm for dummy.
I love it.
I feel like that's exactly what the algorithm is. I made Henry use AI for me because I wouldn't.
True.
I was like, I don't want to put my
email
address.
Well,
it was asking for more than that. It was like ChatGPT was asking me for all kinds of shit.
That's funny.
And I was like, no, I'll just text Henry, and then he sent me the answers. So I like kind of used AI.
Yeah, I use it every day. What's for
Every
breakfast?
day when I wake up,
parenting
I'm just like,
tips.
Yeah, what's wrong with my kid now? AI
What's that
will
sound
know.
in my car? I use it for everything.
I'm going to throw some... Look, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
This needs to be... We got to put this online.
We got to start
Talking
some
tickets.
ticket sales like immediately with this incredible content.
Show's almost sold
It
out.
doesn't really matter.
You're
Show's
waiting
almost
around.
sold out. You're waiting.
Show's almost sold out.
Yeah.
You guys
There's
are
not
dumb.
even any seats because you guys...
sleep on it.
are-
Well, I'll quickly say, if I
Okay.
can, just to kind of put a finer point on it, like bringing Carmen to town is like so fun because like growing this market for comedy and like the appetite for comedy is like a big goal of ours, and so like support local comedy, like buy tickets to shows so that people want to come back. Because if Carmen has a nice time, he's going to come back. Yeah. And then he's going to sell a bigger room when he gets back.
That's right.
And if I don't have a nice time, I'm not going to bring you your favorite comedians because guess what? I can do that. I'm also an agent and a manager.
Wow.
And I'm so sick of people telling me that I have to stay in my lane because as creatives, we could also sing, dance, and act and write and sew and do business and make colognes.
Wow. You just
Carmen's
really...
my new agent.
I feel like people that had tickets might have sold
giving
them on
on the black market. They're like trying to resell them for less than
sales just dropped.
Less than face value.
Ticket sales.
Some people have just destroyed their tickets. They are not even trying to resell them. And now I'm going to throw some random foods at you, and I want you to say whatever association comes to mind.
Great.
It's going to be rapid fire. I haven't put any thought into this, so
nice.
do you want to play too?
I can, but Carmen should play.
We'll play like a round. Scallion.
Yummy.
Pringles.
Yo.
Granola.
Yikes.
Tangerine.
Fuck yeah.
Key lime.
Ooh.
Meatball.
Yes.
Parmesan.
Go off.
Angel hair.
Yeah.
Lemons.
Yo.
You've already said yo.
Oh my God.
You can't already do them.
Okay. Henry, what are you ready for this rapid fire?
Yeah, rapid fire me.
Okay. It's like suddenly pancake.
Breakfast.
Okay. Good.
Nice.
Nice. Did I win?
Prime rib.
Daily.
Jus.
Juice.
Au jus.
More juice.
Crepe.
Yes.
Chocolate.
Okay.
Vanilla.
Let's go.
Neapolitan. Okay, guys, this has been Effin B Radio with Henry Riggs and Carmen Christopher.
In the words of Philip Michael Cohen, thank you, Lindsay, for having a podcast.
Dude, it's a fucking pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. Carmen, good luck at the show tonight.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. In the words of Sir Joe Biden, thanks for having me. Thank you.
You know what you can do? You can rate, you can review, you can do all that shit. But most importantly, you can go and grab a ticket to Carmen's show. Because truly, I feel like what Henry said is so, like, I feel like Charleston is always getting, like, we all talk shit about it. We're like, yeah, the comedy scene, blah. Like, we want it to be better. So if you want it to be better, you got to go see the comics when they come.
Buy the tickets.
Right?
Take the ride.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thompson.
Hunter S. Thank you.
Right.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
Biden
Bye.
Bobs. All right.